Hello and good evening, sir, and Mrs. Excuse me once again. I am AndreasG for eSports. I am back here with the postcast of the last game between Alfy and Gregor. This is, of course, PA League Round 1, Season 1, League 2. These two giants have gone against each other twice already, and now they're gonna do the deciding game on Arctic. Let's get right into it, shall we? Yeah? So as you might have seen, I've cropped a bit here. That is so you do not see the bar down here. See, the cursor is cut. So you'll have to live with that. It's simply because I do not want to spoil the result of this game for you guys. So Gregor and Alfy, two very close people. Gregor do like to go his Legion and do good with that. However, up in the left corner we do see this game. Does not seem like you've decided to go Legion, which is a curious choice if you ask me. But then again, it is what it is. So we are at the Arctic, which means it's going to be snow, it's going to be cold, and this is the map here. Naval spawns close to the islands. So important features of this game: you have the close expansion here, and you have the naval between the two bases. And in all these lakes here, we do see a lot of islands, or maybe you should call them icebergs, since we are at Arctic after all. So important to control this, and with that maybe use some amphibious units. Doxus is going to be strong, Drifters is going to be strong, Kaijus is going to be strong, Ear is going to be very, very strong. There's even some raised plateaus here, as you would see with icebergs. And with that, you can actually place torpedo launchers up on this mountain, can shoot down in the ocean, hit the boats. So curious to see what the players decide to do. So here we see Gregor swapping out his opening build, opening air first. This is a strategy I really like on this map. Out with the AFAB is going to start to grab all these islands, all this expansion about the map, because as you do see, a lot of the metal is actually on these icebergs. Over to naval, do not want to not have a naval too. Then over to some energy. On the other side, Alfy spawning in, Angel White, he is going naval first, then over to air. So the question is, can he shut down this AFAB? I think it's possible, because look at Gregor's economy. It is absolutely terrifically bad. you thought I was going to say terrific? Not terrifically bad. I don't know if that's a word or not. I might have just found it up here at the spot. I don't really know. I don't really care either. What I do care about is Gregor down in efficiency, down to 30% for a very, very long time in the opening. I think that is going to do some long-term damage to his output, as we do know the early stage of the game is very much important. What got him back into it here was this barnacle reclaiming 45 metal every second, keeping him alive. Very, very strong out of Gregor, taking advantage of the combo claim even in the water. So does Alfy beautifully. So now out with the ear fabric for himself. Gonna grab this expansion. As Gregor finishes his use of this air faber, he's gonna get out fabers. Very important now that he does queue those up. Gregor now moving over to his second naval factory, not queued up anything more, but I would not be too surprised to see either of the players going tier 2 in not too far into the future. The thing is that on naval maps, tier 2 is very often a thing, especially on this one with all the amphibious capabilities you can get with a kaiju. I would definitely say tier 2 is very desirable. Alfy not stopping to reclaim his commander even though he's wasting. Really not optimal, really not something we do want to see out of him. However, he's just so far ahead of Gregor. I don't think Gregor has built one mech and we're 5 minutes in. This is insane. This is absolutely terrible out from Gregor. Really, really unfortunate. And that just kills his speed so massively. And now that he does not reclaim his commander either, his efficiency is insanely bad. This pains me to look at from Gregor. Let's just hope he manages to pull himself back, but it just doesn't seem that way to me unless he can build a lot of metal very quick. Let's look at the army count. He's still in the game, but look at the fabric count, and soon we're also going to see the factory count, in my opinion. Possibly even tier 2 just starting to run away. Alfy got this game so deeply into his pockets that it's actually insane. He can do just as he wants with this game. The only thing that could give it away is a big misplay out of him, because it's not in the hands of Gregor anymore, it's all in the hands of Alfy. So nice expansion out to the far corners of this ocean. I really like that. Does get picked off by this piranha of Gregor. Nice rating, but does it matter? As Alfy is almost 5 times ahead of Gregor in terms of metal. And if this was a normal game, I would say would be over, right? But naval, as you all know, is very slow, except from these piranhas, which does not have any anti-torpedo capabilities, so they are going to be taken out. So if this was Forge or something, I would just say this is over, no chance whatsoever. Alfy would have tier 2 soon and everything would be over. However, this is naval, so whatever advantage the Alfy is holding here, it gets carried later into the game because it takes such a long time to build up the units capable of dealing significant damage, as well as actually getting them over there. But we do see Alfy still expanding out his economy, just securing all this mexes around the planet. A very nice work with this Faber around the back here, grabbing all this metal. But just one thing that I think just really highlights Gregor's issue at the moment would, in my opinion, be this. He hasn't even grabbed the 3 mexes. It's just sitting there in his base, ready to be captured, ready to be defended. This should be like the easiest mexes to grab. This should be the expansion to go to. This right there is 7 times 3, 21 metal just sitting there waiting for him. As my mobile phone is screaming at me. Okay, excuse that. And now Alfy's just starting to take advantage of this, getting some bombers out, and is going to kill these 2 Faber, isn't he? But more significantly so, I would say he's now aware of this expansion. And I would not be surprised to see his first raiding party is going out soon, as he do actually have a little party down here. Gregor building up his torpedo launchers. However, that is hard countered by all the drifters which cannot be targeted by the torpedo launchers. You would need a commander for that, or slammers, weirdly enough. However, to secure the game, Alfy has got the tier 2 advanced factory up, and with that, this is just a snowball. It's going to get out of control. We do have the tier 2 naval Faber, significantly so. It's going to start to build that sexy tier 2 economy. It's going to just pull him ahead. Gregor finally responding to all this expansion of Alfy, but it's just a bit too soon if you ask me. All these mexes have paid for themselves as the tier 2 economy is starting to go up. This is the thing. All your expansions, they're really good, right? But they're significantly more important before you got the tier 2 up, because then you're all dependent on the tier 1 economy and the tier 1 metal extractors. However, when you've used all that production and managed to put it into a tier 2 factory, and you can get out the advanced Faber as a result of that, you can get much more concentrated metal at the same value, and with that build the same units and then push out. So yes, sure, I do agree with you. Map control is always extremely important. However, it becomes less significant with the tier 2 in the base. It doesn't hurt you that much to get it rated. So in the meantime, Alfy has secured this expansion, I would admit, as is just securing it up, turtling it up. Is getting raided in the back here, but nothing is taken out quite yet. The only successful raid from Gregor would have to be this area here, and he got raided back. So still heavily in Alfy's favor, who got this game deep into his pocket, as Gregor decides to go tier 2 bots on this island. A curious choice if you ask me. He does give him access to the slammers, which are amphibious and can shoot torpedoes, but in my opinion, I would much rather prefer something like a tier 2 naval factory, or more so maybe a tier 2 air factory. Because at this stage, in my opinion, it's pretty much Alfy who's won, and Gregor should know that. He hasn't grabbed these 4 mexes. He should be well aware that this game is not really going in his favor at this moment. We do look at what he got vision over. Pretty much no Alphys all around the map, and he should know too. Now he does not know about the tier 2, but he should expect it. And with that, with all the massive crashes in the early game, he should realize, you know what, I need to snipe his commander, I need to surprise him, and to go transition over to heavy air, going tier 2 air and over to gunships could really surprise him and potentially take out his commander, which is unprotected from air at the moment. But then again, it's easier to say than to do, of course. But at the moment, it just seems like a slow grind for Alfy. It's just controlling this game so hard at the moment. He could even be even more greedy and grab all of this. There's not a ton stopping him from doing so. But then again, he just has the eco to do what he has to do. So, in my opinion, too, what he should do at this stage is to get down more factories, get down more production, and keep up the scouting to make sure every counter possibly out from Gregor is rejected and taken out. He nicely does so with his ears, sees what's going on here, pushing in. I really like there's a lot of narwhals out from Gregor. It is going to protect him against the air, but danger is not laying the air in this game, which he would have known if he did scout Alfy. However, he has not. So this narwhal is for no good as they face these barracudas. What you also should need here is a radar to be able to use this beautiful Leviathan. Not that it's in any significance at the moment. Looking at the economy, looking at the army tab, looking at the factor in Faber and count and anything, to be honest, it's just pointing in Alfy's direction. But you might as well make it quick, right? So I do have to say, Gregor seems to be just fundamentally outplayed this game by Alfy. So tips to Gregor would be to maybe look into his openings, look into crashing the economy, make sure that he can fix that before potential future games on this map or similar maps, or any maps really, because this is just not going to cut it against really good players, which we do see in this league. You can't really curse that hard on efficiency in the opening. 22%, that's 1/5 of the build time that you have otherwise. And all those fabs and all those factory, they're draining full energy in the meantime. There's not like, if you have 22 efficiency, a fab will use 22 of the energy. There's no such thing. They're just going to use everything they can get their hand of. And now we do see the first significant push from Alfy, I would say. Maybe. I don't know if this is going to go through, but he's playing it extremely patiently. I have to absolutely give him credit for that. Instead of rushing Gregor, he's just building up his economy even further, going second tier to naval factory, and now starting to do some work. Here we see the problem of Gregor's composition here, just getting shreked and hard countered by some of Alpha's units. So here even more of the mexes is going down, and really at this point, if I were Gregor, I would suicide, I would give up. But gotta give the guy some credits, he's still fighting on. So let's see if he can do anything good with this locusts. We all know that locusts can do great stuff, but they have to be used right. And at this stage, even though he were theoretically to chug up the entirety of Alpha's base, I still think it would be GG, to be frank with you. So it is what it is, but doesn't really seem like he's trying too hard. at the moment either. Just being eaten up from the inside in his base, or from all angles. Now from the inside as they're pushing from the back here. Now Alfy is scouting. He's going to see where the commander is, and it can actually react accordingly. I would hope to see some of this kaijus getting pushed up here. Here we go though. The locusts are finally out. It's going to run about. Going to try to deal some damage. Do have to stay clear of all these bombers if they do want to stay alive. He's doing some okay. Micro here loses a couple to the bombs. Now moving into the base, but there the kaijus are, and all that was for nothing. It was for 40% off one of the pigeons of Alfy, which he actually could have lost. In his opinion, doesn't really make much of a difference, does it? So Gregor, with nothing significant left, is going to lose this encounter, to all my knowledge, which means that it's over. One game to each, then this came out down as the decisive game. So very, very interesting between these two players. Gregor, I have to say, doesn't look like a stable player. However, he has some really nice tricks up his sleeve. So let's hope that he can manage to clean up some of his builds, clean up some of his core strategy, and hopefully flourish in the future with his nice Legion use. As we've seen so much before, he did actually get to this tournament by beating Alfy in the qualification. So we do know he has the skills that is necessary. But he's probably the freshest of the players in this league. He has not been around the pro scene for too long. He's not been around tournaments doing good for too long. It's sort of recently that it with Legion that he started to do really good. So he just have to realize his strengths and take advantage of them, and start to replenish his weaknesses, and start to work on them to become an even more solid player. If he does so, I do think he does have a future in this league. However, if this game right here is the new standard for him, then I'm afraid his stay will be short. And there he goes. GG. That was it. Great. So with that, we stop this. Not a lot more to talk about. So thank you all for watching. There will be tons of more content from round 2 coming up on Exodus YouTube channel, etc. My own AndreasG YouTube channel. Check it out. Subscribe if you want to keep yourself in the loop. The PA League have just begun, sons and daughters. We got so much left. So me myself, I'm looking forward to 5 more weeks with these beautiful games. I hope you do too. So stay tuned.